What's first?
Smokey Bear said to.
First drown it with a bucket of water, then stir it with a shovel.
Wow, you sound just like him.
Then he said.
If it's still warm, then do it again.
Where can I learn all this?
It's all on SmokeyBear.com with other wildfire prevention tips, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
When it comes to prescription medications, it's essential to apply safe practices to protect your health and safety. To avoid misuse and abuse, never share or borrow medication. Keep your prescriptions out of the wrong hands by storing them in a lockbox and disposing of medication properly. Finally, understand your prescription information. Don't be afraid to ask your pharmacist and doctor for help. And if buying prescriptions online, be sure to use VIPS accredited pharmacies. Learn more at awarerx.org, a public service from the National Association of Boards of Pharmacy Foundation.
We are the keepers of the wild, America's original and most invested conservationists. For more than 80 years, we've been committed to conserving wildlife and the natural landscapes that define our nation. From rugged alpine ridgelines to peaceful tall grass prairies, we've supported the conservation of more than 36 of American wildlands. Our funding has led to cleaner water, fresher air, and improved wildlife habitat. From abundant fish and waterfowl populations to robust deer and elk herds, nothing is more important than maintaining wild spaces for adventurers to explore and wildlife to thrive. We are America's hunters and target shooters, stewards of the American outdoors.
America's hunters and target shooters, along with firearm, ammunition, and archery manufacturers, have invested more than $46 billion to help state fish and wildlife agencies manage and protect wildlife and wildlands across America. For more information, visit outdoorstewards.org.
The Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council present the story of Tom and Levi.
Tom is the smartest man I know. He's been a professor at 2 major universities, been a teacher for over 40 years. One day, he told me that he was having problems in his classes. I think one of the students had asked the question and he didn't remember the answer. And I also noticed that he was letting his class out earlier than they were supposed to let out. And he was telling them that he was doing it as a favor to them, but I think in reality, he just wanted to get out of there. I was really starting to worry because I saw something was wrong.
Levi and I talked about how it would change our lives, but he was there beside me, and my love for him was just immense.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Hey, wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind, like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest. Uh-oh. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. To learn your risk, take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
The thought of my sons growing up without me inspired me to quit smoking.
I talked to my doctors, and then I threw away all my cigarettes, ashtrays, and lighters.
I started exercising instead of smoking.
Staying away from alcohol when I was first quitting was key.
I kept on trying, learned something each time.
Do whatever it takes.
No matter how many times it takes.
We did it, so can you.
For free help, call 1-800-QUIT-NOW. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and CDC.
Laura, the guys really went to town on that leg of lamb.
Yeah, thanks, Amy. I'm glad everyone enjoyed it.
Something's wrong. I know you too well.
Jim's company is cutting his salary, and he may even get laid off. He doesn't think we'll be able to afford the mortgage.
Oh, Laura.
If you think you may be in danger of foreclosure, call the National Foundation for Credit Counseling at 866-687-6322 or visit mortgagehelpnow.org. That's mortgagehelpnow.org. This has been a public service from the NFCC.
We got out of Washington State, and I think a week after, state went on lockdown for COVID.
So then when we transitioned to Texas, it was very much so like, what are we going to do now?
Operation Homefront has allowed our family to make something of ourselves again in the world after the military.
It's completely changed the way our life is. It took us from a hopeless situation, and now we're homeowners. We have a savings account. I'm the first one to own a home out of my siblings.
Visit OperationHomefront.org to learn more.
At the YMCA, finding your why starts by making an impact together
touching lives for the better. It can be the gift of time or treasure, supporting a community through talent without measure. Here, compassion fuels commitment, finding fulfillment through enrichment, serving and improving. What a way to live, and what a gift it is to give. Find your why and get involved today at ymca.org for a better us.
1230 AM, WDBZ, Cincinnati, an Urban One station. Listen online on thebuzzcincy.com. We are 1230 The Buzz, the home of the Lincoln Ware Show.
Officials are sharing the name of a man who was shot to death Wednesday afternoon at Carter Lumber in Mason. 34-year-old David Cohen is accused of killing 29-year-old Carter employee Vincent Stotzel. The coroner's report says the victim was shot 22 times. Sentencing is being ordered for a Deer Park woman convicted on charges in the shooting of her 12-year-old son. The incident happened on January 26, 2025, at a location on Glenway Avenue. Reports say the woman shot the boy and then turned the gun on herself. He suffered injuries that investigators describe as catastrophic. She pled guilty last month to a charge of attempted murder and was sentenced yesterday to 10 to 15 years behind bars. A man charged in a deadly 2025 Brown County hit and run is pleading guilty. Reports say that motorist Michael Gillerman hit 22-year-old pedestrian Caleb Holberts last October on State Route 125. In Warren County, a man accused of sexually assaulting a young girl inside of a store restroom is taking a plea deal. The alleged incident happened February 6th at the Five Below store on Corwin-Nixon Boulevard in South Lebanon. I'm Heather Pasco in 1230 The Buzz.
The views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the views of Urban One Incorporated, Radio One, or any of its subsidiary companies.
The Lincoln Ware Show is on.
In 3, 2, 1.
Now.
Right now.
Than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky, it's a bird.
It's a plane.
It's
Lincoln, Bobingan, Bonana, Pineapple, Finken, Feed, Fine, Momingan, Lincoln.
They say this cat Lincoln is a bad mother. I'm just talking about Lincoln.
Wake up, Cincinnati. It's time to turn up the buzz. From Bond Hill to Price Hill, from Avondale to Westwood, OTR and downtown. The Queen City is tuned in to 1230 WDBZ. We are the buzz of Cincinnati, your talk station. This is the Lincoln Ware Show, and I'm Kevin Aldridge, sitting in for Lincoln Ware today until 1 o'clock, keeping his chair warm and the mic hot. Lincoln is off today doing Lincoln Ware things. And so I'm going to be taking you all the way up until 1 o'clock today. And boy, is there a lot to talk about around the city, the tri-state, the nation, and the world. But before we get into that, I never want to assume that people understand or know who I am. I am the opinion editor at the Cincinnati Enquirer. In addition to that, I co-own a semi-pro basketball team here in the city called the Ohio Kings and am the youth pastor at the great Allen Temple AME Church on Reading Road, where the Reverend Dr. Alphonse Allen is the pastor. And also co-host the Hot Mike Cincy podcast with my man Nathan Ivey. We're on air every Tuesday and Friday at around 1:15. We get things kicked off, so if you don't get your fill of Lincoln on Tuesdays and Fridays, you can check us out on the Hot Mic podcast. Give us a subscribe and a like. Well, it's Cincinnati Music Festival weekend, or as us OGs, unks, and aunties call it, the Jazz Festival. One of Cincinnati's premier and biggest events, already kicked off, but it rolls into this weekend with their headline acts. And so are you going to head down this weekend, and what are you most looking forward to? But we're already off to a bit of a controversy as we open up this festive weekend, and that's because yesterday afternoon, Cincy Soul, the Black Taste, found out at the 11th hour the event that they had scheduled for this weekend was going to be canceled. And there's been a lot of buzz on social media about this over the last 24 hours or so. And basically, organizers of the event say that the city shut them down, that the city's event coordinator put pressure on the owner of the parking lot where they were going to have the event, basically telling the parking lot owner that if they hosted the event, that they would pull their parking license. And so the owner basically told the event organizers that he couldn't risk his business, and so therefore they were going to have to decline to hold the event there. Now a lot of this information I'm picking up again off social media. I've tried to reach out to a couple of folks at the city and with council, and haven't gotten a reply as I'm trying to get a little bit more firmer information. But certainly if anybody from the city is listening, or if you are with the event, please call in so that we can get some more details. But again, the event, I think, has been around for about 8 or 9 years now. And from everything I've heard about it, it's a pretty positive event for the city of Cincinnati. There were about 40 plus food truck vendors who were counting on this event this weekend, who had already purchased and were preparing food, meals, I imagine. And we're looking forward to probably making some pretty good money this weekend. With all of the people that are going to be downtown for the music festival over the next couple of days, I imagine that this is a big revenue generator for restaurants, food trucks, and the like, with all of those people down here. And so not only does it sound like they're not going to be able to realize any of those revenue gains, but they're probably going to take a loss. Probably going to take a loss on all of that food and everything that they prepared for the event. And so there's some questions around permitting. Now, I believe from what I heard, the event attempted to get a permit from the city and maybe did not get that. And instead went around and tried to make some arrangements in keeping with what organizers felt was allowable within the city rules to have it at this parking lot. And the city evidently came back and said, no dice, you got to have a permit. And so there are questions around that, around exactly what is required, what is the proper process, and was anything that they were doing actually out of bounds. So an unfortunate start to what should be otherwise a great and festive weekend. You know, it's interesting that this comes on the heels of the mayor declaring Cincinnati a black city. And here you have a black event, a black positive event that's going to generate revenue for black business owners in the city. And it gets shut down. Now, I understand everything that you gotta follow proper procedures and their rules and all of that, but you would think that instead of trying to find ways to not make this happen, that if Cincinnati is truly the black city that the mayor says it was, that the city would kind of go out of its way to try to make sure that positive events like this can happen, instead of trying to find ways for them not to happen. But what's interesting is it seems as if food truck operations in the city of Cincinnati have been under attack. And maybe attack is a strong word, I don't know. But it seems that way to me. That over the past 5-6 years, that the city has passed a lot of ordinances and changes that have impacted food truck operations. Now, I wrote an op-ed critical of the city this time last year because I think in the wake of the brawl last year, you know, city council was just seemingly throwing anything against the wall that would stick to appear tough on crime after we took that black eye nationally for the brawl this time last year. And one of the things that they passed was a policy that food trucks had to close by 11 p.m. on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. And I think at the time, the city manager spokesperson said the restriction was directly tied to improving public safety and supporting our police officers. So there was the implication that somehow or another, perhaps that food trucks, their presence, maybe the crowds that they draw, were creating some issues or were creating more work for Cincinnati police officers, and that there might have been some public safety issues. I saw, I think I saw the founder of Cincy Soul say something. I think he went live and did a post yesterday talking about how he feels like food trucks were blamed for the brawl last year. Now, I don't know how true that is or not, but that seemed to be his impression of kind of what's going on here. That maybe the city's interest in this event not coming off is somehow tied to concerns about would this perhaps draw more police support that would be needed. Or maybe they didn't want a repeat of what we saw last year with the brawl. I think some of that could be a stretch, but I don't know. What do you think? I imagine the city is going to be on full alert this weekend. You know, I wonder what the strategy is this weekend, whether they're going to have increased presence in light of last year, what the game plan is. But an unfortunate turn of events for Cincy Soul. And so hopefully something can be worked out to where these vendors can get the support, or somehow they might be able to find a new location perhaps, or don't suffer what for some of these could be catastrophic business losses. All right, well, that's where we are. That's how we're going to start out today's show. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll talk about some other items that are in the news, and we'll take some phone calls for you. This is Kevin Aldridge sitting in for Lincoln Ware today until 1 o'clock, 1230 WDBZ, the Buzz of Cincinnati.
Every weekday, 1230 The Buzz has you covered. Let's go! With new entertainment.
Hey, good morning, chat. Let's see. So self-invested. Why is J-Rod Cincy Soul Fest canceled? So yeah, so self-invested. I kind of tried to cover a little bit of that this morning, the details that I know. So hopefully we will get some folks who are associated with that to call in and give us some more information. Jacqueline Carter says Cincinnati sucks, and what happened with the Cincy Soul is messed up. Buy back food trucks. Self-invested says Jernisha Kessler is said to be calling vendors who wanted to host it to cancel it. Karen Williams says they need to boycott the whole event. Yeah, that's kind of a double-edged sword there, Karen, because, the music festival benefits a lot of, I don't know if that's what you mean by boycotting the whole event, the music festival, but the music festival itself does a lot of positive good, I think, for a lot of black businesses and black people, so it's kind of like a double-edged sword, Do you punish those folks, all of those vendors and stuff like that? I don't know the answer. I guess it's an individual choice for most people. Veronica Silas says, man, that doesn't make sense. Let them make some money too. Yes, particularly in this economy. Veronica, yes, times is hard. Everybody needs some extra money, and to miss an opportunity like that is tough. Jacqueline says, bet they'll never cancel Taste of Cincinnati. Yeah, well, I know that was rhetorical, Jacqueline. Chocolate Girl wondered, Kevin, why don't you get Jay on the phone? Yeah, I did. I reached out to Jay. I sent him a text last night when I heard from it because I did want him to come on and talk about it. I hadn't heard anything back from J-Rod, so if y'all got contact with J-Rod, have him call in. Definitely want to give him time. Black vendors can't get money from the Jazz Fest.
Be able to see it, taste it, or smell it. Learn more at cdc.gov/stop-overdose.
You have an opinion. You've got something to say.
And that's the reason why we're here today.
1230 AM The Buzz, your talk station.
1230 WDBZ, the Buzz of Cincinnati, your talk station. This is the Lincoln Ware Show. Kevin Aldridge filling in for Lincoln Ware today until 1 o'clock. And we're talking about Cincy Soul, the black taste, having the rug pulled out from under it at the last minute. And so there will be, at least right now, no event as far as we know it. And I know some people have been talking about, perhaps boycotting the whole event this weekend over it, not coming downtown, not spending any money. And I'm sure some people will make that individual choice if they were planning to come down already. I know a couple of people who had music festival tickets, and they're putting their tickets up for sale now in protest over how this has been done. And so I'm sure people are going to be making their own individual decisions on that. I look at that as perhaps, a bit of a double-edged sword, because there are a lot of black vendors and such that count on the traffic of people coming downtown and going to the music festival, particularly those who are outside of the stadium, selling food and selling their wares and whatnot out there. And so could they suffer as a result of people protesting and boycotting and saying that they aren't going to come downtown? So it's kind of seems to be like a lose-lose situation, and an unfortunate situation at that. So we're going to go to the phone lines right quick. We got Miss Nettie. Miss Nettie, how are things in beautiful Lincoln Heights today?
Oh, beautiful. It's beautiful, baby. Greetings to you from beautiful Lincoln Heights. And Reb Calvin Aldridge. Am I saying it right?
It's Kevin Aldridge.
Aldridge. Okay, and First Lady Aldridge. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
And I want to say hello to everybody. And do not save them tickets. Go! Go! In spite of. Go! Oh, baby, please go. Oh, and I want you to listen on YouTube, y'all, to Henry Benefiel. And he's got, more love, baby. That's, oh, my God. Great things. Great things. And, I love the real Terrence Howard. He's hung in there with you. And, oh, my God, First Lady's hung in there with you. I just want everybody to go, in spite of. Go. Okay?
All right.
And this is not no black city. It's all cities. Everybody, go. All right, I'm through talking, baby.
All right, Miss Nettie, I appreciate you.
And I'm so glad to hear your voice.
Same here. I'm always come to you first, Miss Nettie.
I know you do. You hear that, Lincoln? First Lady Sharon Ware. Oh, Lord, I hope everything is going to turn out all right, baby.
All right. All right. You have a good weekend, Miss Nettie.
I sure will.
All right. That was Miss Nettie. She said, go in spite of everything that's going on. Head on down. Don't sell your tickets. Support. Do you agree? Let's see what Ray has to say. Ray, what's on your mind this morning?
Hey, how's it going, Kevin?
Good.
So let me get this straight. Who shut the vendors down, the city or the parking lot owner?
So according to what I've heard and what some of the reports were, the parking lot owner told the organizers of the event that he could no longer host it. But this was after allegedly getting a week's worth of pressure from the city of Cincinnati. Their event coordinator apparently had been calling, emailing the owner of this lot, trying to encourage him or her not to have the event within their parking lot. And according to the organizers of the event, it escalated to threats of pulling the parking lot owner's license if he didn't comply. Now, again, I don't have verification of that from the city, so this is a lot of what the conversation has been on social media and what the organizers of the event have been saying.
Okay, so when you say the city, is it city council? Is it? I mean,
so it would be the city administration. I'm assuming that the event coordinator is part of the city administration and probably reports to reports to the city manager.
Okay, now I'm thinking with all these restaurants downtown that, have these outside seatings, maybe they put pressure on the city to say, hey, we're a legitimate business. We've been here. It's not a 3-day thing. Well, they pressured them to no, we're losing business. It's something's going on, and you would think that over $100 million of money coming into the city would bend over backwards, to throw this event. So either money changing hands, somebody is strong armed. There's a lot going on here. But let me just switch things. There's this. I'm sure you've seen that video in Wisconsin where this guy was shot. You had 5 officers detaining a man who apparently stole a bike and was going around trying to open up cars. It's not a recipe for murder, but let's just say they had him pinned. Did you see it?
I've seen clips of it.
Okay, and so they showed it from different angles. I saw it this morning.
Mm-hmm.
They had the guy pinned down, and then this one big cop, he just decided he's just going to take out his gun and say, I had enough of this, and he starts shooting. And then the other 3 officers, they kind of backed away, okay, I'm not going to get a what do you call it?
Ricochet?
A ricochet shot, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so they backed away. And my thing is, and I told Sharpton this yesterday, I said, it's mighty funny that this one only officer, he feared for his life, but the other 3 that had him pinned down didn't.
Right.
That's something fishy there, But besides that, Twin, and I heard Twin yesterday, he was commenting on Ben Crump and Al Sharpton. And I want Twin to know that if something happens to his family member, he wants the best attorney that he can get that can take it nationally, that can, just peel through the onions and let everybody know what's going on. And it happens to be now Ben Crump. And then you got Al Sharpton. He brings it nationally. So you want a lot of people to know if it's going to be a cover-up, if the shooting, if the killing was good or is it not. So between the both of them, Twin, they all have a job. They come to them. Ben Crump don't go to them. It's almost like if something happens here, you go to you call Clyde Bennett. Clyde Bennett doesn't call you and say, here, I'm here to represent you. You have a right to call any attorney that you want to. It's just that Ben Crump and Al Sharpton, they're national figures.
Absolutely.
They put a spotlight on that. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, Ray, just think, people probably wouldn't have known about this Mississippi case if you don't get that kind of national attention, right? The local officials and whatnot would they were already kind of lightweight sweeping that case under the rug. And it's the national attention. It's the attention that forces sometimes these authorities to do the right thing, to go the extra mile, to actually investigate things and not just dismiss it. So I hear that same thing, and this is a line that I think it's unfortunate that we as black people have adopted this race hustling label that they like to put on people like Al Sharpton and Ben Crump and Jesse Jackson when he was alive. These are individuals that, because of the success that they've had in certain areas, whether that's legally, civil rights, or whatever, their name carries weight with it. So when they show up, media shows up, attention gets put on the case. So again, to your point, and you made a good one, if it were to happen to your family or your loved one, and local officials weren't giving you the due diligence or the respect, you would want somebody who could come and would elevate it to where you could get the results that you get. So we need to stop, adopting these narratives from the ops and, recognize that the work and that the attention that these individuals bring to these situations gets justice and attention that would otherwise not be happening. So I agree 100% with you on that.
Right. Now, let me leave you with this, and I'm going to bottom line it, and this is about Trump. Trump, for some reason, he had the Midas touch, He had the Midas touch, and it took white folks, black folks, Latinos, Asian, the poor, and the rich. They all fell for it. They all fell for it. Now, Donald Trump, we all know he's a sleaze. He's a crook. But you can't blame Trump for doing what any other sleaze would do. If you were a sleaze and you were a presidency, you would do the same thing that Donald Trump do. You make money for your family. So everybody out there, you know, it's Donald Trump happens to be the president, and the buck stops with him. But it's Congress who couldn't get him out of office years ago. It's the people out there that voted for him that said, hey, it's okay. You want to take money from me and my family? Have at it. I'm right there with you. He's a sleaze, and they're a crook, and he's going out of the White House with billions in his pocket for him and his family. So, Twin, you're helping Donald Trump get millions while you're still working at Kroger's, making what you're making, paying $4 for gas, and still complaining on the radio. All right, Kev.
All right, Ray. Hey, you have a good weekend, brother.
All right, you too.
All right. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we got Vernon, we got Ron Dula, Bill, and Brandy all on hold. We're going to get to all of your calls. This is the Lincoln Ware Show. Kevin Aldridge sitting in until 1 o'clock on 1230 WDBZ.
Cincinnati. Want to stay plugged in with 1230 The Buzz and get the inside?
Jacqueline says it had nothing to do with permits. Self-invested says shameful $100 million event. Joshua Israel says that's some BS. Don Juan Ford says apply for emergency injunction to force the city to permit food trucks. Can Alicia Reese host them at her event? Madonna says I can't stand city council. They need to go. Where's Mika Owens? Where's Kearney? Daryl Brown says, Kevin Aldridge, I think what happened last year, they don't want us downtown. Real talk. You know, there's got to be some element of that, Daryl, I think, because this is not a new event. Right? This is not a new event. This is an event that has gone on, as I understand it, off and on for maybe about the last 8 or 9 years. And so it's not a new event, but what is new is what happened last year and the reaction to it. And so I really do wonder how much of that played into it. Disempower black entrepreneurship is an act of war. Food trucks don't create crime. No, they do not. They wouldn't do the Taste of Cincinnati or other festivals like they have done Cincy Soul. Alcohol accelerated the brawl. Yes, it did. What's up, Coach Timmons? I see you in the chat. My man Lannis. Love you, Coach. Love you, Coach. Swaney says, I bet that Russian won't be downtown this year. Oh, man. Hey, if he does show back up downtown this year, it might be a setup. Swanee, it might be a setup if he shows back up this year.
WDBZ, your talk station.
12:30, WDBZ, the buzz of Cincinnati. This is the Lincoln Ware Show. Kevin Aldridge sitting in for Lincoln Ware until 1 o'clock. And we are off and running today talking about the cancellation of Cincy Soul, the Black Taste. Organizers found out yesterday afternoon that the parking lot that was going to be hosting 40-plus vendors, food truck vendors for the event, allegedly had been receiving pressure from the city not to host it and even had their license threatened, allegedly, got to say that, by the city. And so instead of opting to risk their livelihood, they said, we can't do it. All right, let's get back to the phones. Let's go to Vernon. Vernon, what's on your mind this morning?
What's going on, brother? Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you just fine, brother.
Okay. You got to excuse that beeping. I got a raggedy truck today. There is no way in hell that they didn't know that he was having this event. They planned this to cancel this at the last minute on this brother. And it's simply not right. Because if there was a problem with that area, they could have moved it somewhere else. If there was a problem with that particular parking lot, it could have been moved somewhere else. They did this on purpose because they did not want that brother down there. And that's just a simple fact. Now you can't find nobody on city council. You can't find the mayor, or you can't find nobody with a search warrant. You did this on purpose, and people need to be held accountable for that because people don't spend their money. They don't buy products. You're burning labor. All that stuff goes into running the food truck. And then at the last minute, you decide, oh, we can't have it here. There's no way that happens overnight. You know, I mean, that's just dirty.
Yeah, I agree with you, Vernon. I think it's disappointing that at this point there's been no comment from the city on it. There's been no commentary from anybody on city council. Again, I said, you know, you got a mayor who stood up last week during Black Tech Week and is talking about Cincinnati's a black city. You know, you gotta stand up and answer these things. And if you standing on business, stand on your business. But come out and make a statement about it, because this is something that people are concerned about, vendors are concerned about, and really is not a good look, especially when you're talking about to black people in the city. And so it deserves some commentary. You can't hide.
Because let's think if they would have said last month, then he would have had an entire month to find somewhere else to do it at. He could have came on Lincoln Show and be like, hey, they doing this to me. People could have, went to city council and stood up for him. You wait to the last minute because you know damn well ain't nobody there to say nothing. You know, and like I said, you can't find nobody right now. And, everybody's out their money. You know, that just don't make no sense. On to the orange jackass. Apparently, we're at war with everybody right now. You know, because we're going to be sending the bombers over to the carpet bomb Iran. Is that what we're up to right now?
Man, you know, that whole situation is such a, I'll just say, mess. To keep it PC. It's crazy. It really is. You know, for a president who promised, no wars, no forever wars, no conflicts, the amount of money that we've spent, the American lives that have now been lost, the Strait of Hormuz is you know, Iran is basically gaming that where they weren't before. I mean, there's no way you can look at this and say that this was a win for the United States.
And he couldn't even, he's such a disgusting person, he couldn't even bow his head at the dignified transfer. You know, everybody else's head was bowed, his wasn't. You know, because really, you don't care about those soldiers. He actually made a video where he claimed that he talked to them or whatever, and they was like, yeah, whatever I got to do to keep them from having a nuclear weapon. You know, that's just ridiculous. Did you see the guy that was mocking him at his speech in the gym?
I did not see that.
It's hilarious. I'm surprised he got that close to him, but he made a good, basically just made an ass out of him, which, you know, my opinion is he's an orange jackass, and why any black person would vote for somebody who's trying to take away everything that you currently have from the government is ridiculous to me. So, but it's nice hearing you on the radio, brother. I'm going to get this raggedy-ass truck back to the building. It's really pissing me off.
All right, Vernon. You be safe out there, bro. Have a good weekend.
Peace.
Yeah, I think Vernon hits on a great point about the Cincy Soul situation. And you got to ask yourself why the city didn't do more to help this get off. And I've seen a lot of people in the chat commenting and on social media commenting that, you know, they would never do anything. The city would never do anything like this for an event like the Taste of Cincinnati. Right. And, you know, the Taste of Cincinnati is a signature event in this city. Cincy Soul, the Black Taste, is trying to build that reputation and that tradition as being a staple event that people look forward to around this time every year. And to me, I just don't understand why you don't do everything that you can to make events like that work, to make it successful, that you don't try to find ways and places for this to go out or for this to go off and for it to work out. Particularly at a time where folks are struggling economically. I mean, we know what it is. You know what it is, what it's been the last year, 2 years. Gas prices is high, grocery prices is high. Think about the money that these vendors have spent trying to pull this event off. And I don't know if they have any insurance or anything like that that covers their losses. I hope they do. I hope they have something in place that insures them or protects them if events don't go off or if they get rained out, that whatever their expenses are, that they don't, it's not a complete loss for them. But even if they're able to recoup what they spent, what they're not able to recoup, again, are those dollars that they would have realized from a weekend like this. And to me, this is what you are elected for if you are on city council. This is why people throw their votes behind you, particularly if you are a small business. This is why you vote for folks, to step up to the table to help you make things happen. And so I have no doubt in my mind that one of the big issues here is what happened last year. Because Cincy Soul is not new. But what is new or relatively new is what happened downtown last year. So Cincy Soul hasn't changed. They're still trying to pull off a positive food event. But what has changed is what happened downtown last year. And you got to wonder if the unwillingness to help or even the effort to try to not get this pulled off, if it goes beyond the permitting and just saying, hey, we just don't want this event to happen. But you know what would be nice is instead of us speculating on why it did or it didn't happen, if we had some kind of statement that actually explained why it happened. Because I always say, in the absence of information, in the vacuum of the absence of information, people make up their own minds about what happened. All right, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we got Ron Dula, we got Brandy, we got Langston. All on hold, all coming up. This is the Lincoln Ware Show, 1230 WDBZ.
Bringing you the stories that go beyond the headlines. The Tavis Smiley.
See, Valerie says, I can only imagine the money those food trucks invested in food, equipment, etc. for this event. Terrible. Keith Aiken says, Kevin, with your contacts, have you tried to contact any council members? I have, Keith. I tried to do as much as I could before I came on the air this morning, and I'm going to try to continue to text and reach out as we go throughout the show. Pat Diva says, so will the vendors get a refund? I saw a post that there might be some other vendor sponsors that are still taking entries. Let's see, D. White says, but what happened last year was after the scheduled activities and Cincy Soul Fest didn't occur last year. Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, so Cam says it's not about the food truck vendors, it's about the hatred and the city having a vendetta against J. Raj. Yeah, J. Raj kind of talked about that on his post. He said that there is a sense that he's difficult to work with, or at least that's the rap he says that they tried to put on him. But I thought I heard him say that because of that, they got a different person to kind of head up the interactions with, I guess, the city or whatever this year, to kind of get himself out of the way if that was the issue. Dwight Kyle says, hello, who is J. Raj and who is Jerusha? J. Raj, I believe, is the the founder, the originator of the event, and Jerusha is the event coordinator with the city, apparently, who is the person who was putting pressure on the parking lot owner to not do the event. LaDonna Cincy says, yeah, he did say that, but he has someone else speaking for him. Right. That's what that's what I heard. LaDonna, that he has somebody else speaking for him. Yeah, we are trying to see what we can do to get some representatives from someone from the city, but my sense is that folks are kind of bunkered in right now. Willie Will says they're against J. Raj because he's free.
Was the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
The views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the views of Urban One Incorporated, Radio One, or any of its subsidiary companies.
1230 The Buzz, your talk station.
1230 WDBZ, the Buzz of Cincinnati, your talk station. This is the Lincoln Ware Show. Kevin Aldridge in for Lincoln Ware today until 1 o'clock. And we're going to go straight to the phones, which are all lit up. And we're going to talk to Ron Dula. Ron, what's up?
Hey, how you feel, man?
Hey, man, I'm good. I'm good.
The event coordinator, we need to find out who that is. But, you know, I should say that we should have nobody calling up talking about what's done happened out the city, what the Strait of Hormuz and all that. We got a situation here. You know, these black vendors, you know, I know some of them spent their last to get this money. So we got to make sure that we have to have some sort of event or something, some sort of church event, or some set up in some parking lot anywhere to get some of that food off of their hands. I mean, we got to talk about resolve, and we got to talk about what we can do to make sure that these black vendors don't lose this money. And I'll cuss y'all ass out on Wide Live, but we need to find out who that event coordinator is, and we need some sort of resolve in this. We can't talk about, you know, what's going on and all that other little stuff. We got to talk about some situations that we can get this food off of these vendors' hands.
Yeah, the tough thing, Ron, is that it's so last minute, right? That's what makes it difficult. Is you can't really just like set up anywhere, right? Because there are probably rules and regulations that have to be followed, and that's what makes it kind of tough.
Those street takeovers happen in a flash of an eye. We can get some sort of situation going. We can set up in parking lots. We can set up on Reading Road in parking lots. And on church parking lots, anywhere, but we need to get this food off of these vendors' hands. Some of these people took a loss. They gonna take a loss. Period. But man, we got to do something. So don't talk about the Strait of Hormuz. Don't talk about the gas prices. Trump is they don't have nothing to do with us. We black out here. We black in here in Cincinnati. And this would be a great opportunity for Mika Owens to own my vote. Bye.
All right. Thanks, Ron. All right, let's go to Brandy. Brandy, what's on your mind?
Hi, Mr. Kevin. How are you?
I'm good. How about you?
So I've done, it was always the Black Taste of Cincinnati until they were forced to change the name to Cincy Soul. But I did it for 2 years when it first came out, and this really doesn't sound like anything new, honestly. Now, the very first year that it was going on, it was fantastic. It was amazing. But it was just one day for us. Now, the second year, that's when, all the rules started to happen. I did 2 days, and I remember quite vividly that the city conveniently forgot to turn on the water where we were at. And I almost didn't get my permit from the health department because we didn't have any water. Wow. So I know these vendors out here that I know what loss that they're going to take on. Because, for me, my catering business, it was just a family-ran business. My parents took off work, my sister took off work to help me out. Friends, working for free just to, get me out there. And it just sucks that the city keeps doing this to people who are just trying to make a living.
Right.
And the whole point of having this downtown is to be close to where everything is. Having it so far up, like what Ron Dula said, writing or whatever, that doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
You got to go where the people are, and that's downtown.
Right.
So, yeah, this all, knowing the struggles that come to planning an event like this, it takes a good year. Once the event is over, you're on to planning it for the following year. That's how much planning it takes. And, of course, the city knew exactly what they were doing. And I truly hope that these vendors are able to recoup some of their losses. Now, are there going to be other food trucks there, or was it just targeted to Cincy Soul?
Yeah, I think this was just solely about Cincy Soul, so I can't speak to any other vendors that might be doing other things that are outside of that event. But it sounds like this is just related to Cincy Soul and what they were trying to do at the location where they were trying to have it at. Brandy, let me ask you a question since you brought it up and you have experience. Just so the audience has a sense, and you don't have to give like any kind of dollar figure or anything, but when you're talking about this type of business, doing whether it's food truck or catering, what is a loss like this? What does that do? What does that do to a business, and how long does it take you to dig out of something like this? And do you have insurance or any kind of protection or anything like that against these types of?
I don't know. Me personally,
Mm-hmm.
no. Just the regular liability insurance that, in case you get sued by food poisoning or something.
Mm-hmm.
But unless, the event has some type of, policy like that, I don't really think you have a insurance that, you'll get something back. You might get your registration fee back, but typically that's, non-refundable. But, for me, if I was doing this event, I had to take out a small loan just to buy the amount of food that I needed. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I would be hurting, for my business, because I know, for example, in 2 days, I should be making in 2 days at least $8,000-$9,000. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I might have to spend $3,000 in food. And back when I was doing it, a case of chicken wings was like $140. God, I don't even know how much it is right now. And a case of wings, it comes in like 40 pounds. So it you might get 100 wings out of that. But, it's just, God, it's just so sad because with the price of food right now, that number could be doubled.
Yeah.
And I do know that, a lot of people from Chicago and the surrounding states come down for this weekend. So they already know, like, okay, we're here to spend money. Some people don't really care about how much the food is. If it's good, they're gonna buy it. Now, when I was doing it, we weren't allowed to sell drinks because I believe Coke had priority over that.
Mm-hmm.
So we just, like me, I just strictly did, like, desserts and food. But I just feel so bad about what these vendors are going through because, like I said, it takes a year to plan something like this. And for the city just to say, oh, the day before, you're not going to do this, that's just wrong.
Yeah.
But I also had a comment about Nolan Wells. Now, I heard...
Okay, real quick, Brandy, because I'm up against a break, so got about
now,
60 seconds.
Did they find water in his lungs when they did the autopsy?
I can't remember whether, from that report, whether or not they did say that there was water in his lungs or not. Brandy, I can't verify that because I can't.
I don't think they did, but I just want people to remember that Mississippi officially abolished slavery in 2013. I just want that to sink in to people. Like, they officially abolished slavery, like, took it off their books in 2013. So I don't know why people are saying that this is not race-related. So that's all I had about that. But, yeah, I just want people to realize, like, 2013 was like 11 years ago.
Yep. All right, Brandy, thanks so much. I appreciate it. All right, have a good weekend. Yep. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to take more of your phone calls. This is the Lincoln Ware Show, 1230 WDBZ.
1230 AM, WDBZ, Cincinnati, an Urban One station. Listen online on thebuzzcincy.com. We are 1230 The Buzz, the home of the Lincoln Ware Show.
A man charged in a deadly 2025 Brown County hit and run is pleading guilty. Reports say that motorist Michael Gillerman hit 22-year-old pedestrian Caleb Holbert last October on State Route 125 and failed to stop at the scene. He pled guilty to the charge of vehicular homicide and will be sentenced at a later date. In Warren County, a man accused of sexually assaulting a girl inside of a store restroom is taking a plea deal. The alleged incident happened February 6th at the Five Below store on Corwin-Nixon Boulevard in South Lebanon. Investigators say that Robert DeWeese victimized a 6-year-old child. DeWeese pleaded guilty to charges including rape and kidnapping with sexual motivation. He was sentenced Thursday to 30 years in prison. Family fun will be available in abundance this weekend with the start of the Clermont and Butler County Fairs. The Clermont Fair begins in Owensville on Sunday. The Butler County Fair starts Sunday in Hamilton. The Reds are in St. Louis this weekend for a series with the Cardinals. First pitch at Busch Stadium tonight is set for 8:15. I'm Heather Pasco on 1230 The Buzz.
The views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the views of Urban One Incorporated, Radio One, or any of its subsidiary companies.
Take us with you wherever you go. Download the Buzz app for your smartphone today. For details, go to thebuzzcincy.com.
WDBZ, the Buzz of Cincinnati, your talk station. The Lincoln Ware Show. Kevin Aldridge with you until 1 o'clock today. And we're talking about the last minute cancellation of Cincy Soul, also known as the Black Taste. And so we're going to get back to the phone lines. Langston, what do you got to say today?
My man Kevin Aldridge. How you doing, my friend?
Hey, man,
How you doing?
my britches is doing good today.
Always good to hear your voice, sir. I really enjoy your points, and it's always good to hear you. But let me jump into it real quick. I'm trying to hit a couple real quick points. I'll save the one for Brandy, what she was talking about at the end. But I think we're on day 40-something with our, with Mitch Watch. And I've sat here, and I've kind of combed through history a little bit, and I can't remember when we have ever been in a situation where you have a sitting senator that no one knows his health situation, and he's locked down basically in this hospital, and no one can get to him. Mm-hmm. And I told Lincoln yesterday that I said, our governor, the governor of Kentucky, needs to go in there with a small detail and demand. This can't go on, because we know that the opposition that is in power right now wants to hold on to this slim majority. Mm-hmm. And they're willing to fight tooth and nail to keep that secret. So I kind of tend to believe that if he is in a vegetative coma state, that's possible, but I really think he's gone. Even if that was true, if they just kind of keep him alive for purposes. But he is absolutely got to be incapacitated. My understanding from some independent sources that you can't even get in the building, let alone there's just they don't allow anybody in. So that doesn't sound like he just had a slip and fall or a little bout with pneumonia. It sounds like something serious. And so
what's interesting about that, Langston, is this is the same side of the aisle that railed against the Democrats about covering up Joe Biden's supposed mental incapacitation, right? They went on and on ad nauseum about how the Democrats were covering up that Joe Biden had lost it, and that there were other people who were actually behind the scenes running things because,
absolutely,
he was cognitively compromised, and now you can't even get, I seen that picture that they did. What was that, a week ago? The proof of life picture that they had of Mitch McConnell, which if that wasn't AI generated, I don't know. It looked that way to me. I don't know. But it's unbelievable that they're allowed to get away with that.
And I don't understand why Democrats are playing nice. It's like I can't imagine if the shoe was on the other foot, there would be no way Republicans would let this go. There's just no way.
Absolutely.
Heck, with Ruth Bader Ginsburg, as soon as before she even got to the ground, they already had i.e. Mitch McConnell ready to appoint her seat. Mm-hmm. So, the niceties have got to be out the door. And the second point I wanted to hit real quick, I had another one, but I'll just go with the one where Brandy was referring to. And speaking of cover-ups, with poor Nolan Wells, in regards to his autopsy that the medical examiner is doing in, I believe it's D.C., he did the complete medical exam of his body, and when he gets to the trachea, lo and behold, it's missing. Now, my understanding is that it's common that the previous medical examiner will hold on to parts that they're kind of wanting to look more into. But it seems like you would have gave them a heads up when you gave the body over to them, like, hey, there's the body, but we still have this. We're still doing more of analysis on it. And to shed a little more light for it, they don't know because they don't have the trachea to say if it was a drowning or not, and which leads you to believe, was there something more nefarious? Was it broken? Is there showing something like, the highway bone was broken? And so it just leaves more questions than answers. And also his stomach contents. They had kept the stomach. So we don't know if he ingested anything. It's just more questions than there are answers. And I guess a side note, for this particular medical examiner in Mississippi, she does have a track record, especially with the law enforcement, of checking off people as died of natural causes. This is not a first rodeo. So, again, for Brandy, that we don't know just yet because that particular part of his body is missing. So that's all I have for you, my brother.
All right, Langston, I appreciate you. Thanks for your call.
Appreciate you, sir.
All right, let's go to Twin. Twin, what's on your mind? Or, no, that's Sister Regina. Or is it Twin or Sister Regina? Who do I got? Is this Twin? Okay, Twin, what's going on, brother?
Yeah, it's me, Twin.
All right. I wasn't sure if I hit the right button. But
what you say? Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
I ain't know something. I thought something was wrong with you.
No. You good? Go ahead. What's on your mind?
What you doing? How you doing, Pastor?
Hey, man, I'm doing good. I'm blessed every day. I can draw breath.
Ain't nothing wrong with that, man. Highly favored. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Hey, Pastor Aldridge. Hey, man. I agree totally with Miss Brandy that the caller just got off, man. What she said, man, and everything. But I look at it like this, Kevin. We got to worry about ourselves, man. All this back and forth with that Trump issue and all that. No, we got to focus on something else. Hey, Audrey. Hey, you think them business down there, them restaurant heads have something to do or say so about this moving with the vendors?
You know, who knows, Twin, what conversations go on behind the scenes, right?
Mm-hmm.
What and whether these conversations just originated in the last 24 hours, whether they've been going on for weeks. I mean, I can't speak. I don't have any knowledge or evidence of any behind the scenes conversations that other businesses were trying to dissuade this or whatever. Basically all we have to go on at this point is what the organizers have been saying through their posts on social media. And then, of course, the city kind of being radio silent on this at this point. It's difficult to get a true accounting of what's going on. So I can't speculate on that.
They silence is, they're on recession right now until next month type thing. They knew this was about to come about. This dude been in the game for 9 years, Pastor Aldridge.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't no way in the devil-filled junky earth that they should have allowed this to happen, man. Ain't no way, Pastor. They shouldn't allow this to happen. It's some cutthroats. It's some devils, and everything else mixed in the game. The man been shining for 9 years, man. All of a sudden, you don't have no permit. You didn't update your permit in time. That man got a probably whole load of food truck, fresh food ready to go, cook, and everything. You got vendors and stuff. They've been on the game, on the square for so long, man. Y'all move up the street. We gonna put y'all up the street and all that. Oh, hold on. Y'all ain't got y'all permit. It's not activated. Come on, man. And ain't no community leaders or activists out there like, y'all is dead wrong for this. That man should be out here just like everybody else making money. This is the top-notch event that happens every year, Pastor Aldridge. And this the thanks we get. And I go to the vendors, man. I go to the vendors and support them, whatever, because I'm hungry.
Mm-hmm.
And everything. But this the thanks you get, man. See, I really don't understand, because every time we got a problem and we're gonna address our situation, whether it's on this, and I respect Lincoln. And if you want to go express your what's going on and how you feel, and you're not treated right, people go to Lincoln and everything. But some people, they sponsor this radio station and everything. If you say too much, hey, you a hop, whatever, he can't say that. I can say how I feel and I express myself. And I don't like the way stuff going on. I don't care what leader in the forefront of the situation and everything. I'm address the situation. I'm address the problem. I'm not going to backdoor you, two-face you. I'm going to come at you with the problem, man. And it shouldn't be like this, Pastor Aldridge. This is the number one event that make money in the city. Everybody should eat. Black, white, Mexican, you name it. Everybody should. It shouldn't be like that, man. And then at the last minute, you can't go there. We can't do the event and everything this year for you vendors. Come on, dog. Somebody needs an explanation. He needs a reimbursement on all vendors and everything that contribute to this. Come on, don't do that. Don't do the people like that, city of Cincinnati. What is y'all about, man? This can be a thriving city if y'all come together on one accord. But no, it's just, the business stuff, we can't do that in front of this. What about our business and everything? Y'all go eat too.
Yep.
Y'all y'all shouldn't do that, man. And then the city leaders and nobody, the mayor and all that. I understand you handle your business so-called whatever, because you don't want to be caught in the jam like you did last year, because you out there now with pump faking with the flood like you really got your boots on the ground and everything. Man, that's phony to me, man. I'll watch and sit back and watch all four corners and observe the situation, what's really going on. People don't like me, man. They don't like me because I tell the truth and shame the devil.
All
I might
right.
play around sometime, but now I'm about that life. I'm gangster about any situation, man. I stand on. And I'm for the people, man. But to sit up there and just to play this, man, I'm in the game for 10 years, and this the things I get. Hey, Mr. J. Rogers.
Hey,
man,
real quick,
Kill
twin,
got
I'm gonna have to
every-
let you go. This is it. This is the last comment, so get it out.
Man, let me close with this, man. Pastor. Jay Rogers, Carter Chill got something going on 1st and 3rd of every month, man, every Friday. If you don't like, man, move it to Hamilton County Fairground. Throw an event on there or other streets and all that. Move around. You ain't got to set up shop over there. On there. Move around somewhere else, man. I'll guarantee you. Put it on Facebook. We coming, man. We gonna support you and your other vendors. Don't let the devil disturb you, man. It ain't nothing but the trick of the enemy, man. God got you, man. Keep your head up, brother, man. And hope this be a safe event, whatever, this music effect for everybody, man.
All right,
man,
thanks,
Kevin
twin.
Rod,
All right, man.
You
You
a
have,
pastor, man.
yeah.
Pray for them, man.
Will do.
You need
All
to
right.
pray for them.
All right, bro. You have a good weekend. All right. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, more calls from you. The Lincoln Ware Show, 1230 WDBZ.
Hey, y'all, what up? This your boy, Ricky Smiley. I want to drop you an invite to something a little more personal.
Hang up, passer. Oh man, yeah, he twin was riding that out, boy. I couldn't get him, but he made some good comments though. Andrew says, "No, this is not the reason we don't like you." Let's see, Marine says most of us can do two things at once. We can talk about MAGA and we can talk about our city. That's true. You know, Marie, I hate that when people say that. Like, we don't need to be talking about this. We need to be talking about that. We need to be talking about all of it. Right? I think that is, I always think that is one of the most ridiculous comments out there. Like, you shouldn't talk about Nolan Wells because we got issues in it. Well, we need to be talking about all of it. And some of it is connected and linked. Trust me, y'all, I'm trying to reach out to some of these council folks. And it's radio silence right now. I don't know if they trying to gather information, a plan, or they just laying low. Yeah, Roy Bohannon says, I don't believe there's an absence of information. Jay has been on there and stated his position, but no one from the city has come out to dispute what he's saying. Yeah, no, you're right, Roy. I mean, Jay Raj has been out there talking about what is happening, the missing piece. And so the absence of information is the city's response, right? Because I always say there are two sides to every story. There's my side, your side, or three sides, I'm sorry. My side, your side, and the truth, and the ability to try to discern the truth, you got to hear from both sides, and you got to hear the evidence that is being produced by both sides to come to a conclusion. And I think the fact that the city's silence right now does speak volumes. I would say that. 1230 WDBZ, the buzz of Cincinnati, your talk station. This is the Lincoln Ware Show. Kevin Aldridge with you until 1 o'clock this afternoon. And we're having a good conversation today about the cancellation of Cincy Soul, the Black Taste downtown. They ran into some issues, apparently, according to the reports that are out there. The parking lot owner that was going to host the event was pressured, apparently, by the city of Cincinnati to not host the event on his premises. And so about 40-plus food truck vendors now will not be able to realize any revenue and may, in fact, lose quite a bit of money out of this deal. And so far, nothing. Crickets. Crickets from 801 Plum Street. Crickets from City Council. I think that's the most disappointing thing for me at this point is there's no one from that side commenting. I was just saying in the break that in the absence of information, people tend to fill in the gaps. And right now, the absence of information, we've heard from Jay Raj on social media, and he's been out there with his position. And the organizers of the event have been out there with their position. What we have not heard is a response from the city on it. And sometimes silence can speak volumes. The fact that nobody is stepping up to try to address the situation. I'm hoping that's because maybe there's some people who are behind the scenes who are trying to work this thing out. I'm hoping that folks just aren't ducking, that they aren't in a bunker somewhere laying low because they don't want the smoke. I'm hoping that that's not the case. I'm hoping that maybe what the case is that there are some people who are behind the scenes who are trying to work some things out to still see if they can try to make something happen this weekend for these food truck vendors. And so they're cooling their heels until they can come out with a solution. That would be great. And so the pastoral, the generous side of me hopes that that's what's going on. The cynical reporter side of me is more skeptical. Are folks just hiding right now? So I'm going to try to let my pastoral side lead me at this point and believe that some good people down there are trying to find some solutions to try to still help this thing get off and help these food vendors not lose their shirts this weekend. Because that would be a terrible thing. And Jay Raj kind of talked about in his post that part of it might be some hate that is on that side against him, that there are some who feel like he might be difficult to work with. And so to circumvent that with this year's event, he kind of stepped aside and let somebody else kind of head it up, speak on his behalf. But here's what I'll say on that. Is you can't tell me that the city of Cincinnati doesn't deal with a lot, even if you want to believe that maybe J. Raj is difficult to work with. Let's just go with that. Let's just say that that's true. He doesn't believe it is. I don't necessarily know that I believe that it is, but let's just go with that. You can't tell me that the city of Cincinnati doesn't deal with a lot of difficult business owners, a lot of difficult partners that they got to work. I know for a fact that they do, and they still make it happen. So the fact that somebody might be difficult to work with, that they might not necessarily be your cup of tea, is not an excuse to not host an event that is beneficial for your city, that's helping people earn money. If that's going to be the measure that we're going to use now about whether or not things happen in the city is whether you're easy to work with or whether I like you 100%, if that's the measure that we're using, there should be a lot of stuff not going off in this city. So don't give me that J. Raj might be difficult to work with. This is a brother that has put on a variety of different events in this city, that has had several different businesses. This is somebody who's trying to make Cincinnati better. I think anybody that's out there on the hustle, that's trying to make this city better, that's trying to give people positive things to do, that's trying to put people on to help them make money, we ought to be encouraging that, not discouraging that in the city. I don't get that. And all this does is pump into and feed into the narrative and the feelings that many people have about the racism that exists in this city. I'm not saying that the people who did this are racist or anything like this. I'm just saying that this type of bad situation feeds into that narrative and the feeling that people have. And so when you want to stand up and say that Cincinnati is a black city, it doesn't look like anything more than pandering. When not even a week after you say that, this happens. So I'm supposed to believe that. And then here you have a positive black event, and you can't get that off in a quote unquote black city. I didn't say it. You said it. Don't be mad at me. I'm just saying what you said. And when I see the actions don't match up with the words, then that's when people have issues. Don't say what you don't mean. Don't say what you can't back up with actions. Sad. Disappointing. Maybe you didn't borrow a word from Lincoln. Unbelievable. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we got Sister Regina, we got Bill, we got Mike McCoy, all on hold. We're going to get to all of you as soon as we come back from this break. 1230 WDBZ, the buzz of Cincinnati. This is the Lincoln Ware Show.
What's happening, good people? It's your cousin Trip Fontaine, and this is the
Jeffrey Durden says, why would the city of Cincinnati pressure the owner of the lot not to have an event? Jeffrey, that's a good question. Don Juan says, Kevin Call, Inquirer editor for 411. I've been checking our site. I know, Don Juan, I know they're trying to work on something because I brought it up this morning in our story meeting. So I'm keeping my eye out for any updates on Cincinnati.com on this story. Heck, they may be having the same issues I'm having in trying to get a hold of people for a comment. No, you're right, Don Juan. I'm not a beat reporter. And as I said this morning, when I brought it up in our news meeting as a story that we needed to pursue, I was told that was the case, that was going to be happening. So you're right. I'm not a beat reporter. I'm not the one who's going to be investigating, looking into this and reporting it. But I do believe that we have somebody on the case. Brent Beer says, accused of being difficult and not having the complexion for the protection is a double whammy.
Learn more. 1230 WDBZ, The Buzz, your official talk station.
It is official, you understand me?
.1230 WDBZ, The Buzz of Cincinnati, your talk station. This is the Lincoln Ware Show. Kevin Aldridge with you until 1 o'clock this afternoon on this Cincinnati Music Festival weekend. Well, let's go downtown, or not downtown, but let's go out to the Dukester and find out what's on the menu today.
Hey, good morning, Kevin. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm glad to hear it. I'm here. Are you prepared for the weekend?
I'm ready to go.
Well, it's already here, whether you're ready or not. And good morning, Buzz listeners. It's Friday, and above everything else, be careful out there this weekend. And for all you out-of-town visitors, welcome to Cincinnati. Hope you enjoy your stay, and I hope you enjoy the music festival. Now, there's plenty of good food downtown, but if you get a taste for some good down-home cooking, come on out to the Dukester. We're located at 7733 Reading Road, and our telephone number is 513-761-2300. We'll be here late after the festival, so there's absolutely no excuse for you to be driving around hungry. Now, on our menu today, you can come on by for our grilled sockeye salmon, hot off the grill with macaroni and cheese and fried corn, or check out our barbecue ribs with baked beans and potato salad. We're also featuring our Caribbean-style seafood boil, and that's a meal in itself. But my pick for today is our famous oxtails over rice with smothered cabbage, candied yams, and hot buttered cornbread. We'll be open late all weekend long, folks, so stop in and see us. Have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you later, Kevin.
All right, you have a good one. You have a good one, man. That sounds like some good menus. Oxtails over rice. That seafood boil, though, that's what I like. I might have to look into that this weekend. Check out the Dukester. All right, let's go to Sister Regina, who's been waiting patiently. Sister Regina, what's on your mind?
Oh, well, how are you doing, Brother Aldridge?
Hey, I'm blessed. How about you?
I'm grateful and glad, but still kind of sad to hear what they've done. And I remember, got to take you some years back, when Brother Mark Pastor and Brother Bahami did the Ujima celebration. All the vendors was like, on 5th Street, And then Black Baptist ministers at that time got it to where no beer or anything could be sold at any of our things, Black Family Reunion, when the sister had mentioned, they couldn't do alcohol. That's why you got to take it back that far. But last week, Sheila Gray was on Lincoln's show and talked about the African Fest that was down on the banks. Mm-hmm. I went down that Saturday, but I Googled it. Do you realize that whole week, it started on the 12th and ended on the 19th? I went down last Saturday. All their food trucks were Africans. And I'm like, and I talked to some, because the ones on the organization had on orange shirts. And I asked, why didn't y'all, televise this on the Buzz? Where's, Black radio network, not by no Sheila Gray, because that came on later in the week. It started on the 12th. Had all kinds of events all over the city. And I'm like, wow. But they were sponsored by Amazon. Maybe they have a large African community that works for them. Then I thought about, when she mentioned the no drinks, I'm like, well, you go to Oktoberfest, they should have beer tickets. They walking around with open flasks of beer. A couple of years ago when the young lady ran up on the sidewalk and hit folks, they have beer. Mm-hmm. And at the Asian Fest, they don't invite Africans of America or the continent. But when it comes to the Black Family Reunion, all's welcome. Come on now. If you don't stand up for your own, ain't nobody else going to do it. But here's the thing. This music fest is the largest money-making event. They don't want the brother to make no money. Don't nobody need to get upset at Twin, because I read in Scripture, the Most High hates a lying tongue. And when the brother say, when he tell the truth, folk, keep telling the truth. Stand on truth. Because nothing on this earth, as it is said, has a heaven or a hell to put you in. It's your soul on the line. Keep telling the truth. Brother Dumas had a good idea as well when he said, go here, go there, but the money is to be made this weekend. They don't want him to make that kind of money, but you don't want him on the corners either slinging drugs. Make up your mind. Can I make my money honestly? Because money can be made legally and illegally. This is a sick, sad, disgusting situation. It's sad.
All right.
Sin and ashamed. 4 S's. Sin and ashamed, sick and sad. Hey, Miss Nettie, Miss Sharon, Sister Aldridge. I mean, that's a shame. And the Black Family Reunion is coming up. They'll have Asian people. Get your all black people down there. Let some of our people make some money sometime. But this is the biggest event, and they going to do this, brother, like this. I bet if he hit up some other vendors in those cities that come and put out the word how he's been doing, maybe all them numbers that come down here to spend their money would stop. Then Santangelo going to step in. What you bet?
All right. All right.
That's
Thanks.
sad. That's sad.
Thanks, Sister Regina. We appreciate the call. We appreciate the call. All right, let's see what Bill has to say. Bill, what's on your mind? Hello, Bill. All right, we lost Bill. All right, let's go to Mike McCoy. Mike, what's on your mind?
Thanks, Kevin, for taking my call. You got your paper and pen handy? Because I'm going to throw out some things to you, and then I'll hang up, and that way I can listen on the radio when I throw these things out at you.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, first of all, a lot of the restaurants, when the festival comes to town, a lot of them shut their doors down. And this would have been a great opportunity for these vendors to make some money because, these restaurants, they'll close even though they don't want to take our money, but they'll shut down. So I don't know if that's still going on or not, but like I say, that would be a great opportunity for these food trucks to make money. And also, my next question is, have you heard anything about the hotels doubling the pricing? Because normally when our people come in, they shoot the prices up on the hotel, and also they double up on the parking. And have you heard anything about any streets being blocked off? because I know there's a lot of construction going on down in town, and I'm just wondering if there's any streets that's going to be blocked off. And then the other thing is, in the policing, I'm quite sure it's going to be all hands on deck for the policing, but hopefully the police will be policing friendly, and welcoming people instead of badgering people. So those are the things that I'm asking you, and I'll hang up and listen to your response on those things.
All right, Mike. So as far as I know, there are some street closures. I'm trying to find. I know I just saw we had a story on Cincinnati.com earlier talking about what streets were going to be closed around the music festival. So, Mike, I'll try to find that during the break and give some information on that. As far as hotels doubling their prices, I don't think that that's anything outside of the norm. I think in most cities that you go to, whenever they have big events, everybody is trying to make their money off of the music festival and big events when cities host things like that, because that's a prime opportunity for them to make money when people are going to be coming in from out of town. So yeah, the room rates are going to go up. The food rates might be a little bit higher. So all of that stuff is kind of typical anytime you have a huge tourism event that comes to town. That's where a lot of these businesses make their money, which is why. Now, I had not heard of late that restaurants were closing down like they used to back in the day. I do know that used to be kind of the thing back in Cincinnati, maybe in the late 90s, early 2000s, where restaurants were closing and hotels were putting out notes, hide the towels and sheets and all of that kind of thing. I think we've moved past that, unless there have been some developments that have happened of late that I'm not aware of with businesses and restaurants closing. But I think if you do that, I think that's stupid. Because again, you got tons of people, thousands of people who are downtown who got money. They come into town with the intention to spend money, right? Why you would not want to capitalize on that would be beyond me. So that's where it's at, Mike. I'm gonna try to look up that street closure information and get to you. We're gonna take a quick break.
Let's go to Lieutenant Howard Grant first.
Okay, let's do Lieutenant Grant. Okay,
late today. So.
Yes, sir. Okay, all right. So let's go downtown to the Crime Stopper headquarters with Lieutenant Howard Grant. How you doing this afternoon, Lieutenant?
Busy getting prepared for this weekend, and we still got to do our regular jobs. But I appreciate you guys taking time for me.
No problem. Who we looking for today?
Today we're the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office and the Cincinnati Police Department is looking for Lydell Lewis. Mr. Lewis is wanted for felony failure to comply with a police officer and felony possession of drugs. Lydell Lewis is a black male, 41 years old, 5'7", 140 pounds. Lydell Lewis has an arrest history that includes drug offenses, aggravated menacing, failure to comply with a police officer, receiving stolen property. Lydell Lewis was last known to live on Green Street and Over the Rhine. Cincinnati Police District 3 is also looking for Freddie Pinella. Mr. Pinella is wanted for felony breaking and entering and misdemeanor assault probation violation. Investigators say Mr. Pinella knowingly entered the campaign headquarters and stole various property without the victim's consent. Freddie Pinella is a white male, 55 years old, 5'9", 210 pounds. Freddie Pinella has a history of theft and was last known to live on Blueberry Drive in Liberty Township. If anyone has information where police can find Lydell Lewis or Freddie Pinella, please call Crime Stoppers at 513-352-3040 or submit a tip online at crime-stoppers.us. You can also go to p3tips.com to submit your anonymous tip.
All right, Lieutenant Grant. Detective Tiffany Green told me to take care of you today. Me and Detective Green been playing pickleball. We show up at the same place, and so she told me she wasn't going to be on today. She said, but you take good care of Lieutenant Grant. So she's looking out for you, man.
Well, I appreciate that because I approve her time off. So if she needs to get off early to play pickleball, you let me know.
All right, we'll do. Hey, man, be safe out there and have a good weekend.
Thank you. You too.
All right. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we got some more calls for you. The Lincoln Ware Show until 1 o'clock. Kevin Aldridge sitting in, 1230 WDBZ.
Lincoln Ware is on demand. On demand. That's right. Listen to the Lincoln Ware Show.
All right. Let's see. Catch up with the chat here. Dang, Don Juan, I wish I had seen your message. You're right. That would have been a good question to ask him. Yeah, Tim, they did. That was reported back in the day that these hotels that they would issue edicts about checking on the towels and the sheets and all that kind of stuff at the hotel. That was not hyperbole or an exaggeration. That was a reported fact that happened. So D says, if each individual food truck has their separate vendor's license, what's stopping them from pulling up on a street that's not closed? D, I don't know all of the particulars, but I do know there's a lot of rules and regulations for how, where, and when food trucks can operate in the city. So I don't know what the rules are with that. We got a food truck vendor who was a part of the event, who's going to be the first caller I'm going to come to after the break. So I will ask about some of those things with this particular vendor, and maybe they can answer some of those questions about what you can and cannot do as a food truck. Stan said that meal sound like you will be in the bathroom all day. Which meal is that? Stan? The oxtails over rice? What was you? Which meal was it? I assume that's what you was talking about. So why don't we hold our money this time of year? Zachary Israel says there's some people who are saying that, and some people who are doing it. Like I said, I know I've seen a couple people who are saying they're not coming downtown now to patronize anything.
Radio 1 or any of its subsidiary companies.
Giving voice to the community. We are the Buzz of Cincinnati, your talk station.
.1230 WDBZ, the Buzz of Cincinnati, your talk station. This is the Lincoln Ware Show. Kevin Aldridge with you until 1 o'clock today. And so we're going to go right back to the phones. And we got Jasmine, who is a food truck owner who is going to be a part of the event this weekend. Jasmine, how you doing?
Hi. How are you guys doing today?
I'm doing very good. So, Jasmine, tell us a little bit about your story. I want to give you room to talk.
Well, thank you for the opportunity to be able to share my story. But so my name is Jasmine Davis, owner of Sweet Jazz Treats. I've been in business for almost 8-9 years now, mostly mobile and online services, doing private caterings to corporate events and stuff like that, custom cakes, weddings, and etc. This weekend, I was definitely looking forward to being part of Cincy Soul, as I have been for the past probably 4 or 5 years. And so for this weekend to pretty much be canceled, and I baked like a lot. It took me some days to do it, but and not being able to really sell to, our community, it kind of threw a rug up, not just underneath me, but a lot of us Black-owned food truckers who look forward to doing this event every year. And so I kind of was pissed off about it. I'm not usually the type of person that is in politics at all. I usually stay in my lane, but now that I have a son to take care of and, employees as well, I felt like it was my responsibility to voice my opinion, my thoughts, and my feelings on it, because right now, excuse my language, you're fucking with my money and my employees and my livelihood here.
Ms.
And I'm sorry if I cuss.
Miss Jasmine, hold on. You cannot do that.
And,
don't say the F word anymore. Okay, thank you.
Bad.
I appreciate it.
But I just feel like the community needed to know us as, food truck owners or just Black-owned businesses, what we're going through right now. I know right now, they're kind of targeting the promoter, J. Raj, and literally, targeting him in situations. And Jay, we've always rocked with him. He's always supported the business, my business, other food truck businesses. For this person, Jerusha, to literally target that parking lot, and because she literally had to seek them and everything like that, it just didn't make no sense to us. And so we're kind of frustrated and we're mad. So it was over 40 trucks and vendors, who were willing to set up and to make money. And so for the city to not really, help us, especially if they know this is our top money-making weekend, it's a disappointment. So I'm not the type of person to give up. I definitely encourage my other food truck friends and family to keep pushing forward. I did finding a spot for me to actually pull up near First Financial Center on 5th and Elm behind the Hyatt Hotel. And so I'll be set up there. So if anybody wants to come and support, please do. I'll have a variety of treats available to sell for tonight, which I should be there around 5 to like 10, and then tomorrow as well around the same times. So, I hope I can just help other people, because it's not just about me. It's definitely about all of us, as a community overall.
So, Jasmine, so it's interesting. So you said you found another spot to pull up to, because that's one of the things that, like, some callers have brought up, some people in the chat have brought up, is how difficult is it for a food truck to find a different spot to plant? And, like, are there rules? Are there certain procedures and policies that you have to follow to be able to pull up somewhere? Do you have to ask for like a permit to do that? Like, how difficult would it be for some of the other vendors who are like yourself to find a different spot to pull up this weekend so it's not a loss for them?
Right. So what I end up doing, I just did a pay to park. I found a spot where it says pay to park. I'm paying the meter, and for whatever hours that I'm there. It's definitely difficult because they have a whole bunch of signs saying mobile food trucks can't park here, we can't park there. I know some of us tried to park across the street from Fountain Square, but it said, one of the signs said we cannot park unless you're a taxi or a food truck. you're permitted there. But because 3CDC is in charge of that spot, we had to move, even though it pretty much allowed us to be able to, but they blocked it. And so us, and also with the violations that's going on, saying food truckers cannot be out past 11 o'clock due to, fights and vice versa, that has nothing to do with us. Like, we usually, most of the time, are just there to make money during that time. I'm not one of those, but I know some food truckers are. And so we're just trying to navigate, because there's been so many violations and rules that have came up over the past couple of years. Some of us, we're just like, okay, so what are we supposed to do? How are we supposed to make money if you're pulling this red card or that red card, or, this violation on us? And we're all permitted. Majority of us food truckers, we go straight by the book. We're permitted. We have our food truck license, our COI license, our fire, licenses and permits. So at this point, I think a lot of us are kind of just fed up and just like, we're going to do what we need to do to survive. We're in survival mode right now.
Mm-hmm. Jasmine, do you think that because you brought this up about fights and things around food trucks, do you think you guys are being targeted or trying to be, or that they're trying to be links made between maybe disturbances, whether that's fights or whatever, crime? Do you feel like that's kind of the narrative that's being painted around food trucks, or do you not? Like, how are you, and how do your fellow food truck vendors, how are you guys interpreting some of that?
I don't feel like, for us food truckers, we're not there to start anything. We're just there to feed the people and to make sure everybody is okay. I feel like a lot of those fights and situations were based off either the youth or just people being stupid. That has nothing to do with us, but they're trying to blame the food truckers because we're in the vicinity of when some of those situations happening. But that doesn't mean it's us that's egging those fights on. We're just trying to make money, period, at the end of the day. And so I think the city definitely needs to go back and relook at everything. So I definitely go back to us as food truckers and ask our opinions and thoughts on things, because a lot of these regulations that were put in, I think last year, they didn't really communicate too well to us, and it was just posted on social media or the news or the radio and say, here are the new rules, but never really asked us. Yes, I know part of the CFTA Association did reach out to them to see exactly, like, why are these in place? Why didn't y'all kind of communicate with us with this before y'all kind of threw it out there? But at the end of the day, like I said, us food truckers, especially black-owned food truckers, we're just trying to survive and to make the money for our families at the end of the day. So to put us all in one category and box, I think that is wrong. I think they definitely need to go back to the drawing board and say, hey, what can we do to help you as a small business owner, as, a minority-owned business, to figure out what can we do to come together as a community instead of just pointing fingers. And this was the time for Cincy Soul and the time for the music festival for that to be done. But instead, it lit an even bigger fire, and more people are upset about the situation because they look forward to it. I can actually name how many people came to me over these past couple of days just to say, hey, we were looking forward to Cincy Soul because of the fact that that's the only reason we come downtown. And a lot of people don't really go downtown. Mm-hmm. We just came to support the local black-owned businesses and food trucks, and that's why we have a good time. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I think there definitely needs to be a conversation had to talk about this, because it's not fair, especially me and some of the other food truckers who spent money trying to prepare for this, and for that to be taken up from under us, and we didn't get notified until like 4:48 yesterday by email saying it was canceled. That's not fair. Like, it's just not fair.
All right, Jasmine. Well, listen, I appreciate you sharing your story and your time, and I'm glad you found some place to pull up, and I hope that you're able to still make the best out of this weekend. All right?
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for letting me being able to share my voice and my opinion and my thoughts. And once again, please don't just support me. Support all the other Black-owned food trucks and vendors down there, because a lot of us, this is our full-time jobs during the summer. So if y'all can help us in any way, we would greatly appreciate it. And keep your head up, all my other food truck owners. We'll make it, and we'll make the money we need to make here or there. Have a blessed day. Thank you so much for your time.
You do the same. All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to have the final hour of the Lincoln Ware Show. This is Kevin Aldridge with you until 1 o'clock, 12:30 WDBZ.
12:30 a.m. WDBZ, Cincinnati, an Urban One station. Listen online on thebuzzcincy.com. We are 1230 The Buzz, the home of the Lincoln Ware Show.
Sentencing is being ordered for a Deer Park woman convicted on charges in the shooting of her 12-year-old son. The incident happened on January 26, 2025, at a location on Glenway Avenue. Reports say the woman shot the boy and then turned the gun on herself. He suffered injuries that investigators describe as catastrophic. She pled guilty last month to a charge of attempted murder and was sentenced yesterday to 10 to 15 years behind bars. Officials are sharing the name of a man who was shot to death Wednesday afternoon at Carter Lumber in Mason. 34-year-old David Cohen is accused of killing 29-year-old Carter employee Vincent Stodzel. The coroner's report says the victim was shot 22 times. A man charged in a deadly 2025 Brown County hit and run is pleading guilty. Reports say that motorist Michael Gillerman hit 22-year-old pedestrian Caleb Holberts last October on State Route 125. In Warren County, a man accused of sexually assaulting a young girl inside of a store restroom is taking a plea deal. The alleged incident happened February 6th at the Five Below store on Corwin-Nixon Boulevard in South Lebanon. I'm Heather Pasco in 1230 The Buzz.
Did you miss something? Catch the rebroadcast. Do it again. For the full schedule, go to thebuzzcincy.com.
1230 WDBZ, the Buzz of Cincinnati, your talk station. This is the Lincoln Ware Show. Kevin Aldridge with you for about another 56 minutes today, but we can still cover a lot of ground in that. You guys heard from Jasmine. She was one of the food truck vendors who was slated to be a part of Cincy Soul, the Black Taste, which was canceled at the last minute yesterday afternoon. And so she was able to tell us her story. She found a different spot to pull up to, fortunately for her and her business, but a lot of her counterparts might not be as fortunate. I got to get this in real quick just because for those of you who don't know, a couple pieces of information. First, the street closures that was asked about. Elm Street is going to be closed south of 2nd Street from 4 p.m. to 2 a.m. this weekend. Freedom Way will be closed between Elm and Marion Spencer Way. That started at 2 a.m. on Thursday. Ray Street will be closed between 3rd Street and 2nd Street from 4 p.m. to 2 a.m. Ray Street closed south of 2nd Street started at 2 a.m. on Thursday. Rosa Parks Street closed south of 2nd Street. Also, that started at 2 a.m. Thursday. And Joe Nuxall Way will be closed south of 2nd Street from 4 p.m. to 2 a.m. So that's the information that I have available about some of the road closings. And more, if you want to see more or get more information on that, you can go to Cincinnati.com for more information about those road closures. And the other thing, this is kind of off the beaten path in the subject, but if you did not see, LeBron James is going to be signing with the Philadelphia 76ers. And so I just had to slide that in because I am a Philadelphia 76ers fan. I was excited when they signed Jaylen Brown from the Boston Celtics, and LeBron just might put us in the finals this year. So LeBron to Philly. All right, let's go to the phones where we have Charles, who's been waiting on hold. Charles, what's on your mind?
Hey, how you doing, Kevin? I'm Charles Dever. I used to be the president of the United Vendors Association back in the 90s and early 2000s. We went through a lot of the same stuff that we're going through now. When we had the Jima Fest, and it would allow the Oktoberfest to have open spaces all over the place, but they restricted us to very little few places. And they're doing the same thing to them now. But the city has a chance right now, if someone was to post them, to make an emergency ordinance that allowed all those food vendors to park on Vine Street, on Walnut Street, where the parking meters are, and waive the parking meters, waive all that nonsense with 3CVC. That's a puppet that they use to keep you from going to the city. But they have a chance to do that. They can make an emergency ordinance, and all those food trucks can set up there during the festival until the festival's over. But that's somebody got to go and address that. You just can't hope they do it. You got to go down to City Hall, and you got to ask them for an emergency order. They can do it. So it's no excuse for not helping the vendors. They can do that right now. And if they don't do it today, they can't do it tomorrow because the City Hall is closed. So somebody got to get down to City Hall and let them know that they will be closed over here at this event on 7th Street. We need to have emergency orders to give them permits to set up on the street where their parking meters are and waive all that meter fees and all that nonsense and let them vendors make some money. I don't want to go no further because I'm getting upset now. So thank you for your time, sir.
All right, Charles. Thank you for the call. You know, Charles is right. You know, as the vaunted radio talk show host, the late Joe Madison, the Black Eagle, used to say, what are you going to do about it? And that's the question that the Food Truck Association, those vendors involved, even those of us who are here on the radio, who've called in, who are commenting in the chat. The question is, what are you going to do about it to change the situation and get results? All right, let's go to Doug Springs, who's been waiting on hold. Doug, what's up, brother?
Fine. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Fine. This whole issue regarding Cincinnati. So, Kevin, I'm from Cincinnati. I was a community activist, and also I was a health department inspector, primarily dealing with food. So I've been around the festival. We used to call it the Jazz Festival. I've been around it for a number of years. So I just like to give just a brief history, if I can. And it really, it goes much deeper than a lot been said is very true, but it goes a lot deeper into, they say history repeats itself. But to know that history repeats itself, you have to know the history. And that's what I'm going to try to get over to the people is the history. And the first thing I'm going to say is not so much about the fest itself, but it's about the ideal of what's going on. In 1820 to 1830, there was a movement to send all black people back to Africa. And it was through the American Colonization Society, and they had a chapter here in Cincinnati. And it was Charles McMicken, the founder of UC. If you went to UC, you know about McMicken Hall. Mm-hmm. He had, I found this out much later, he had a black lady that he had some children with here in Cincinnati. So that's just a little bit. But he paid for these blacks to go to Liberia, Africa. And these blacks went over to Liberia, Africa doing slavery, and they basically took over the country, and they ran everything, and the natives, they didn't give them no kind of play. So it was basically black-on-black negativism towards other black people. And then in the early 90s, have you ever heard of the Taste of Ebony?
I have not.
The Taste of Ebony started in the early 1990s by Sister Debbie Green Boone, who looked at what was going on after the festival because they've been closing, downtown been closing since the early 90s. they was closed, and there was no place for the people to get nothing to eat. So she started this festival thing, and it was called the Taste of Ebony. And at the Taste of Ebony, you had food businesses and things like that. What's going on today? So she was the first black person I know of to do a fest downtown just for us. And they're honoring her at the Black Family Reunion. So if you get a chance to go to the Black Family Reunion, listen out for Deborah Green Boone. Well, in the late 90s, she did this. Early 90s she did this. By the late 90s, some local community activists, some black business people, but most of all, blacks that worked in City Hall, we all organized and got this festival thing really going, organized. And because it was popular, the blacks in City Hall helped us. And like the brother just said, you know, the hotel rooms, the sister worked for the hotels, called us and told us what they was doing, how they was jacking up the price. So we dealt with all those problems, and today we're going back to it. And it's not, I don't think it's white people that's doing it. I think it's other black people who has control of the coordinating and the planning of it from elite positions that they have. I think they the one who went against J. Rob. Now, I have no proof of this, but this is just from what I'm hearing and understanding how things work. Black people have been deeply involved in these festivals for a while now. So I'm talking about as far as in a leadership position as far as planning and carrying out things. So I don't think it was white people who did this. I think it was black people who stopped who stopped Cincinnati Soul. And as you probably know, Kevin, I had a reputation of being a difficult person to work with. And that's the reason J. Rob, you know, the brother is trying to do things. You get a title or somebody throws something on you, and you have to live with that. But our history is, you know, once we get in position to help black people, 9 out of 10 we turn on each other. And I think this is what's going on. The brother said go down to City Hall. I think it's a little bit too late, but his ideal is definitely correct. They need to organize among themselves and go. It's too late. I think it's too late now because Cincinnati City Council would have to vote on this, and they're not having the meeting. So it would be, I believe it would be difficult, but not probably impossible. But we need to look at what we do to ourselves sometimes. And I think this is the case with Cincinnati Soul, that some blacks didn't like what was going on, that J. Rob got around and did some things that they didn't like, so they stopped it. And I think that's a shame. For those who understand it, they can see it, and hopefully next year they can deal with it. Thank you, brother.
All right, Doug. We appreciate it. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we got Miss D, we got CC, Mustafa, and Dee Dee all on hold. We're going to get to all of your calls. This is the Lincoln Ware Show, 1230 WDBZ.
Looking for a podcast that delves into the intricacies of love and relationships? Look no further.
See, BPE Music says, I bet the majority of black vendors down on the banks are from out of town. We need to support our local black food vendors. Yeah, I'm not sure of the percentages, but yeah, you probably do have a lot of vendors who come from out of town who are selling their wares down there close to the stadium. Queen says, everybody else moves comprehensively except us. Is she right? The Eastern Conference is going to be crazy. Let's go Knicks. No. I think Philly, I think the Eastern Conference is ours now. I mean, I know it looked good on paper and they got to play the games, but LeBron might have put us over the top. It will still be plenty of black vendors on the banks. How about we support black whatever this weekend? Says D. Karen Williams says boycott downtown. Don Juan says, Kevin, you a smart guy cheering for Bron. I've always loved Bron. I mean, being a Philly fan, I never really root for like other teams, but I always rooted for LeBron everywhere he's been except LA. That was a bridge too far. I couldn't do LA. It's like LA, Boston. If he had wound up in any one of those spots, I can't do it. Them are two franchises I can't do. But when he was in Cleveland and Miami, I cheered for them because of Bron. But I've always been a LeBron James fan. Who will flop more this season, LeBron James or Joel Embiid? There's probably a prop bet somewhere on that, Brent. That would be a good prop bet. If you was about that betting life, that would be a good prop bet to see. .1230 WDBZ, the buzz of Cincinnati, your talk station. This is the Lincoln Ware Show. Kevin Aldridge sitting in for the irreplaceable golden voice of Lincoln Ware. And I would be remiss if I didn't pause and acknowledge my man in the saddle with me, the real Terrence Howard on the ones and twos, who always does a fantastic job keeping me in line, on track, and I owe him an apology for not catching that. Oh, I
caught it.
You caught it? Yeah. Okay, great job.
I also have to edit it in the back end.
Okay, so even better. See, that's why you got to have backup. Somebody who can catch it for you when you miss the ball. So I appreciate you, Terrence.
It's all good. I appreciate you, my friend. Always a pleasure working with Kevin Aldridge.
Yeah,
Aldridge.
My grandmother used to call me Calvin. Who was that? Was that Miss Nettie that got me? She got Calvin Aldridge. She got both of them wrong off the rip this morning, but I let the Calvin go because my late grandmother, God rest her soul, she's from Mississippi. She used to call me Calvin all the time, and so you don't correct grandma. You let that go. All right, let's get back to the phone lines and to Miss D. Miss D, what's on your mind?
Well, good afternoon, Mr. Aldridge. How are you?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm fine. Thank you for asking. Mr. Aldridge, me listening to Doug Springs has changed a little bit of what I was going to say, because he's probably right. It sounds personal to me, this situation. However, maybe, a couple of solutions that I may have about the situation is, and this is not to down NAN and NAA, all those organizations, but to me, the power has not been built up. It's like Mr. Aldridge, I feel that we should have an organization that it exuberates, power that black people can see. Let's say that, because what is a shame to me is the fact that white folks has always taken over our ideas, our everything, where we should, make the money and not them. But it somehow, that never, our culture, it never happens like that. So we need organizations that, to me, my opinion is that would boycott, for real, have, like an annual statistics things about black people's events. How much do we make off of our ideas and events? How much do they make? Things of that nature, and report it. Put it out here publicly. Let us feel something here. We, it's all, it makes us feel so powerless, For an example, what if we, all the entertainers that come here every year, Mr. Aldridge, and perform, do a great job on those stages down there. If it's raining, they're there, etc. Okay? How about letting them know what's happening to the little man, in other words, in these cities? That's like that girl just got hung up, said she's got a son that she is trying to take care of. She got so passionate, she used a word that I'm sure she wouldn't have used, but her passion was that strong. Somebody, and especially men, in my opinion, it's like Medgar Evers and them. I respect those kind of guys that I've read about. I was young, but I remember when he got shot in front of his family, all that stuff, for reasons that mattered. That's why when I see people like Twin and black men talk about how great Trump and all them, who wouldn't even speak to them if they saw them on the street. What I am saying is it's time to really start trying to do something about, I don't know what City Hall, I don't know. That's not my field. I know that Doug Springs, I used to work for a guy who did a lot of events in this town, and Doug would show up and put the thermometers and all that on the food. I am a caterer and a whole lot of other things. I'm quintessential in the food service. So we would do events all over Kentucky, all over downtown Cincinnati, so I'm familiar with all of that. But until we can understand that ain't nobody coming to save us, we're going to have to sacrifice, do without some things, a whole lot of stuff, in order for, especially, generations to come that don't, and it's not that I don't like white people. It's some that I absolutely love, and their heart to me has been genuine. I'm talking about the establishment when I'm talking like this about white folks. Okay?
I got you.
And so I just feel that some things we may be able to figure out, and us against each other is a problem too. So I was going to say a lot more until I heard Doug Springs. And, this is something that we need to stop doing too, because this does sound personal to me. The man, whoever, the guy y'all keep talking about that puts this stuff on, maybe he offended and a lot of it is greed. I don't doubt that Jeff Ruby don't want those trucks down around what he's done put down there across from that square. I was right down there yesterday for that salsa stuff. Well, not for it. I just wanted to get out the house and get some air, so I went down there. But these are the things that black people are going to have to do something different. Find out all these racist people that we give our money to every day. We need to highlight that. Stop doing that, and try to, if the black small man, if his product is not that good, wait him out. Go back, buy something else until he can do better.
All right. All right, Ms. D.
That is my comment. We have to just boycott some of this stuff and try to come up. Thanks.
All right. Thanks, Ms. D. Thanks, Ms. D. Yeah, Ms. D said something that I completely wholeheartedly agree with, which is we have to save ourselves. We have to save ourselves. And I think when you see people like J. Raj and others who are trying to do positive things, one, not only do we have to support them, which I think we do. But when things, and I mean, meaning that I think people do support, but I also think when things like this happen, you also have to stand up. Like, it can't just be the food truck vendors and Jay Rogers fight. It has to be in the same way that the community supports by showing up to get the food. You also have to stand up to support, to stand with them as these challenges and these situations that you feel are unfair or unjust come up, right? Because it may be J. Raj and it may be Cincy Soul this time, but what event might it be next time? Could it be you and your business next? So that's why it's important that on certain issues like these, when you talk about mobilizing, when you're talking about standing, yeah, it's good to go down and get some chicken wings and some sweets and some desserts and things of that nature, but we also have to show up in other ways as well. All right, let's go to CC real quick, who's been waiting patiently. CC, what's on your mind?
Well, I wanted to say that I think that this is ridiculous and racist and deliberate to do this to the black vendors with such short notice. And I'm looking at how the mayor came out for the flood victims immediately. So I feel like they should be compensated, like $5,000 to $7,000. I did this before in 2019. You prepare so much. You spend so much money, time, and effort for these days, the weekend, when this is coming off, Thursday, Friday. It's a lot of preparation, and I feel like they should be immediately compensated, like even like for the Black Family Reunion, the Black Walk of Fame. I do agree that somebody or someone, the city, the people that's listening now, they should do some type of emergency ordinance. Let them be somewhere. I say they should be on Reading Road, by the casinos, by the courthouses, somewhere like that. Real quick, immediately. They can do it. So I just wanted to share my sorrow for them and
all right. Well,
and put an idea out there that they should be compensated, like the flood victims. Those businesses, it seems like they're being put in the forefront. And this weekend was an opportunity for these people to showcase their food, and they were thwarted. And if it was for someone, just for one person, personally, it may have been, but I think it's a bigger agenda to just keep the blacks away. Go home. They're trying to make the food trucks be a scapegoat for that brawl, you know. So I think we all can see it. And really, if necessary, go ahead and boycott. Pull out right now. Nobody go. And let Ricky Smiley and all the entertainers and celebrities know that's going to perform tonight and already here. Let them know what's going on in this city so it can spread.
All right. All right. Thanks, CC. I appreciate the call. All right. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we got more of your calls. This is the Lincoln Ware Show, 1230 WDBZ.
1230 The Buzz wants you to buy Black 513. Black Americans have over
Dr. Cheese 5 says, how can a city of 40% black get played like this? Then again, we're only voting at 20% and doing so on name recognition. Ain't we tired of this? Is he right? Is he right, chat? You know, Dr. Cheese, that is something that I ask myself a lot, is that, you know, with the population that we have in Cincinnati, the black representation that we've had over the years, here we are still kind of fighting some of the same battles. And what that says to me is there's something either that we have not identified or don't want to admit about what we're doing is not working. And it does start with getting more people to turn out to vote and looking at, how we're voting, who we're voting for, because and that's not to say that there hasn't been some progress, but I mean, we're still talking about, for as long as I've been around Cincinnati, we're still talking about a lot of the same issues. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I? Okay, my bad if I hit you with the wrong pronouns. My fault. My fault. Yeah, it might be too late, as Doug said, to get any kind of like legislative fix for this, but I gotta believe that there's some kind of fix, right? Does it take some kind of emergency ordinance to fix this situation? It didn't take an emergency ordinance to break it, so it shouldn't take an emergency ordinance to fix it. Nat Turner, my man, what's up? He says people-centric policy is not greater than corporate-centric policy.
Log on to thebuzzcincy.com.
1230 WDBZ, the buzz of Cincinnati, your talk station. This is the Lincoln Ware Show. Kevin Aldridge with you for about 30 more minutes, and we're going to try to get in as many calls as we can here in the next half hour. So I'm going to go straight to the phones. Mustafa, what's on your mind? Hello, Mustafa, you there? Mustafa. All right, we're going to put Mustafa back on hold and see if he eventually taps back in because he's been on hold for a while. Let's go to Dee. Dee, what's on your mind?
Yes, good afternoon, Kelvin. I was trying to say it right because I got a nephew named Kelvin.
Yeah, Calvin. That's how they used to, how my grandma used to say it.
I'm not gonna say Calvin. I'm gonna say Kelvin. K-E, not C-A.
All right.
But good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I am want to hop on what Doug Spring, what he was saying. I appreciate Doug Spring for what he just said on the air about Deborah Green Boone. That is my sister.
Okay.
And she was the first black female here in Cincinnati, Ohio, that gave that event. I worked with her on the event. And behind the scenes, we had hell. But in front, everybody thought everything was going smooth. But, yes, she will be honored at the Black Family Reunion this year. And I just wanted to thank Doug Spring for bringing that up because you don't hear much about her.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you, Dee. I appreciate the call.
All right, and I appreciate you taking my call.
All right. We're going to go to Al. Al, what's on your mind? Hello, Al. All right, we're going to put Al back on hold. Let's go to Stefan. Stefan, what's going on, brother?
What's happening, my brother? How you feeling?
Hey, I'm doing good, man. People been asking where you at. Is you on the case? What's going on?
Brother, I'm born on the case, brother. This is the Community Hawk News, brother. Worst thing, let's talk about that flood. See, we knew about that flood was going to be a disaster. We knew it was some malfunction going on. And now it come a big lawsuit. And they're going to say the city don't got no money. They're going to say they broke. Them the games they about to play, brother. And it's sad. It's sad. It's sad. It's like the flood on the food trucks right now. It's the flood on the food trucks. They pushed them out, brother. And that's wrong for that, man. At the last minute, that is wrong. And it's sad, too, that on a black event they having today and tomorrow, they make over $100-something million. And you telling me the blacks don't get no parts of that at all, period. And it's sad, man. It's real sad. You need to do a report on the Inquirer on that one, man, because this is something that they will go by that newspaper and read after you write on this one, because it's just sad, though, man. You know what I mean? You know, how can we have an event for the black culture, and all of a sudden, at the last day, they pull it? That's wrong. City council is on their vacation, so it's going to be impossible to have an emergency ordinance in place because some people probably be out of town. You know what I mean?
But Stefan, do you think this takes an emergency ordinance to fix?
No, it takes a phone call to fix it. That's what it took for them to shut down, was a phone call or email.
Yeah, that's my point. It didn't take an emergency ordinance to shut it down. Why does it take one to fix it?
Right. It's always some excuse for black people, man. You know what I mean? It is sad and sickening what's going on in our communities, man. But we got our community leaders, so-called community leaders. They got the so-called power to do something about it. They listening right now, but they don't want to. They going alone to get along. They kissing ass. That's what they doing. Keep it real with you. It's just sad, man. You know, y'all don't do stuff like that, man. We keep letting that happen up under our nose, up under our watch. You know, we keep saying, I heard the lady say something about, let's quit giving our tax dollars or our money to who? 3CDC? They grandfathered in. You know what I mean? Doing this old ignorant stuff they doing, man. And it's sad, man. It's a sad moment. It's sad, you know what I mean? This brother came online. He did everything the guidelines he had to do. And all of a sudden, y'all go talk to the parking lot guy and talk about, well, if you don't do this, we gonna pull your permit. You know what I mean? Your events in your parking lot. That's sad, man. 3CDC own parking lot. Why can't they say, you know what? Let's put them in this parking lot. We will apologize if we had something to do with this, because it's wrong. It's wrong to the fullest, man. They did this to that brother, and that's super wrong. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
But I like to say, they need to make, you know, somebody whole once again. That's like how they did at the town center, brother. How they did them at the town center. Now they doing this on the food truck. This don't keep happening, and we ain't saying nothing about it, huh? Where are the community leaders at? Where are the people at when Jay Rod they made calls out to him when it's time to vote? Where they at, huh? Where the people that's backing him up at? Come on out of y'all cave. Come on out and stand up with this brother. We got to stand for something. We going to keep falling for any damn thing, brother. And it's sick, man, but that's my intake on that. But I'm going to be honest with Jazz. This is my bullhorn. I'm going to let the folks know coming out, going in and coming out. We got to wake the heck up. You know what I mean? We got to get ready. That's why it's so damn important for us to vote. It's important for some of this stuff like this won't happen. The Natty Dems fight for stuff like this, brother. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
They should be fighting for stuff like this, Natty Dems, the PEs, executives that's part of the Democrat Party. I'm talking about myself. You know, we need to fight, but it can't be quiet on this. But they having the Black Family Union breakfast. That's a great time to come out because you can have everybody there.
Oh, we lost Stefan. I'm not sure what quite happened there, but we'll go to Sister Bridge. Sister Bridge, what's on your mind?
Hey, Brother Kevin. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. I agree with Stefan. You know, this is just so unfair on so many levels, and it's just wrong. It's wrong. It's just wrong. And they, like Stefan was saying, I think they could move them to another location? Why couldn't they? Some of the streets are being blocked off. They can put them on some of those streets that are being blocked off. But just to remove the rug up from under their feet at the last minute, it's just not right. And we do need to speak out about this, and somebody need to be held accountable. And why isn't the council or someone from the council speaking? I haven't been listening the whole time, so I don't know if someone got on and brought some light to
They didn't, Sister Bridge.
Okay, so see, that's just not right. I'm hoping, like I did hear you earlier saying, well, maybe they are silent because they are trying to work behind the scene until they have come up with a solution, and then they're going to come out. Because if not, that is a problem. And so, that's really all I want to say. But they shouldn't do businesses, period, that way, and especially when we are our community is trying to, put their blueprint, not their blueprint, but their footprint, somewhere. And we know this is one of the biggest money-making weekend of our city. It's for our city, not just our community, it's for our city as well. And so, for them to do that, it's not going to be a win-win. It's a loss for everyone, and they need to think about this. And I'm not blaming one person. It's a collective body, and we need to get our acts together.
All right. Thank you for your call, Sister Bridge. I appreciate it. You have a good weekend.
Welcome. You too. Thank you.
Yep. Yeah, it. And again, the city's piece of this conversation is the missing one, because there could be a very good reason, right, that we just don't know, that hasn't been expressed, that this action needed to be taken, or at least that they felt, but we don't know what that is. So a lot of the opinions and things that are being expressed based off of the information that we have. And one of the things that just seems that doesn't sit well with me is that, I think as Jasmine said, like these are people's livelihoods. These are their lives. These are their businesses. This is money that's been spent. And I just got to think that on some level, if you are a city that cares about your business owners, that cares about your people, that would be something that you would take into consideration and try to make something work. I get that there are sometimes rules and policies and things of that nature that you have to follow. And I don't know whether every I was dotted and every T was crossed. I don't know the answer to that. But at the end of the day, it's a positive event with positive people trying to do something to help them improve their lives and their businesses. And I would think that this would be something that the city would want to make a way for. And that's the part that just that kind of doesn't sit well with me, that these are people's lives and livelihoods, that there should be some consideration for that. And the fact that there doesn't appear to be just doesn't sit well with me. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be pulling into the station. We got Mustafa, Aliyah, and Rick Jr. on hold. We're going to try to get to all of you before we close out the Lincoln Ware Show, 1230 WDBZ, the buzz of Cincinnati.
Every weekday, 1230 The Buzz has you covered. Let's go! With new entertainment.
Landon Lee says, this event that's been going on for years, why can't they just have a regular spot for them? So, Landon, I'm not sure if, because I think last year, if I'm not mistaken, the event didn't happen. For whatever reason, it didn't happen last year. But, and again, I don't know where they maybe tried to get some permits, and were unsuccessful there, and then they had to go to this parking lot route to try to get it done. I don't know all of the particulars, on that, but finding a location that they can call home and try to get there every year would seem to be like a good idea. T. Mike G says, let me hurry up and eat my turkey sandwich before Mustafa gets on the line. Don't eat too fast. Don't eat too fast, T. Mike. Ron Dula says we have to collectively come together as a city and have a discussion. If we have to collectively come together and have a discussion. Repeated it 3 times for emphasis. Self-Investor says, read the ordinances. They are written to ensure no competition for 3CDC and definitely no growth for black businesses. Do we really believe that? Do we really believe that, Chad? Do we believe that Cincinnati, the powers that be, don't want black businesses to grow? Do we think that's true? I'm just asking. Ray Henderson, 1930, said, how many sellouts have the Kings had? You're asking about the basketball team. Sellouts. I don't think we've had any probably since year one. Yeah, the venues that we play in are pretty much anymore are a little bit bigger than we started out in our first year. Andrea Clark says council is busy getting ready for the festivities this weekend for those that will come, and the others are using this weekend as a vacation. They will take this issue up next week sometime. Yeah, after the fact is it's too late for the folks this year. 1230 WDBZ, the buzz of Cincinnati, your talk station. This is the Lincoln Ware Show. And we got about 12 minutes left. So we're going to try to get these calls in. That means we're going to need y'all to keep it brief. So, Mustafa, what's on your mind?
Hey, I just want to know, do you have any clarity on why permits weren't issued?
I don't. So what I gleaned from, again, Jay Rogers' post was that maybe they had attempted to get a permit, but for whatever reason that was unsuccessful. Maybe somebody else maybe where they were trying to get a permit, they got beat out by somebody else. I don't know the particulars of why they weren't.
Why I asked, because this is about solve the problem, not the blame.
Mm-hmm.
We can play the blame game about who didn't want, but how do we solve this equation so it won't happen in the future for whoever promoted events? Because whoever said no, they might be righteous. I don't know.
Yeah, that's,
you know what I mean?
That's the point, is when you're not getting any information from the other side, you don't know you don't know, right? And you're right. That's a big unknown.
Truly, yeah, it's truly unfortunate because, trying to do business, there's a lot of wrangling, red tape, and you be like, whoa, why? Why all these hurdles? That's what I be trying to figure out. Why all these hurdles? So it hurts small business especially because all those hurdles mean more money got to be spent. And when you start in a business, money is tight. So I just hope we can solve this equation. Thanks for taking my call.
All right, thanks, Mustafa. That's a good call there. He's right. We can accountability is definitely something that matters, but we also got to be looking forward to what are the next steps so that we don't wind up in this situation again in the future. Elia, what's on your mind?
This is Brother Elia. Brother Kevin Aldridge. Kevin Aldridge, right?
Yes, that's all right. Yes, let's go.
Okay. This is nothing but what the brother just said. It's nothing but a pimp game, and it's designed to perpetually go on. The nature of this, as somebody just said about this man and what he's made, he's got to be very amoral to make up a pimping game that involves the Most High. So the only thing he wants to do is keep blood and money coming out of our way, and they're happy. But it's time for them to learn reality that there's a true and living Almighty, and his design is for us to come together, start reasoning this thing more sensibly, and start putting victory in. That's what I see.
All right. Thanks, Elia. I appreciate the phone call. Let's go to Rick Jr. Rick Jr., what are your thoughts?
Good morning. How you doing?
Good.
My thought is the wheels actually came off the wagon. You can go back to the late 70s or maybe early 80s when, back then, you go back to these black churches, they were all very prosperous. And then starting about the late 70s and in the early 80s, all of a sudden, everybody thought they knew everything. Everybody wanted to be a one-man band. And then once that happened, the only time blacks came together is somebody was shot by the police. Then all of a sudden we protest. You agree with that?
So say that again. Repeat that, Rick.
I said the wheels came off the wagon as far as black unity in Cincinnati. I'd say back in the late 70s and the 80s. I'm just talking about these churches and stuff. Because if you remember, the churches were all prosperous. I mean, we had these huge churches around, Belleville, First Baptist, Antioch, on and on and on, okay? And everybody was together. And then in the 80s, all of a sudden, everybody, each church started, they become independent. Everybody thought they knew everything. And that's when the wheels came off the wagon. You agree with that? And the only time we came together is when somebody got shot by the police, and then all of a sudden we want to come back together. You agree with that?
Oh, I don't agree with it entirely. I mean, here's where I agree with it. I agree with the notion that, for a long time, the black church was sort of like the epicenter of the black community. And I think a lot of people went to church back then. I think that dynamic has changed in probably since then, to where you have fewer and fewer people who go to church, and therefore the black church is not necessarily the center of the community as it used to be. And there hasn't been I don't think there's been a requisite replacement for that large, overall, that has been sort of like a gathering spot, leadership that could speak to large swaths of the community and largely on one same kind of moral spiritual accord. I think that's true. Now, who you want to say is at fault for that? I mean, it may not be as simple as saying, churches thought that they knew everything, or church leadership thought that they knew everything. I mean, I think that's a complex answer.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I hope everything. Well, I guess Lincoln, when he gets back, he's gonna have a whole mouthful when he comes back Monday.
I'm sure he's gonna have a lot to say. I'm sure he will. I'm sure he will.
So everybody have a good weekend.
All right.
Take it easy.
Thanks, Rick.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. All right, let's go to Bill. Bill, what are your thoughts, man? Bring us on home.
Hey, I was having a lot of interference. I'm at dialysis. My thought is that the Black Taste of Cincinnati is just closed down due to economic issues. That's all. It's a bad time right now, but, it's just a matter of time before things pick back up. So I would not get all bent out of shape and everything and all that. I am going to enjoy myself tomorrow at Andrew Brady Center. It's definitely a celebration and takes our mind off of all the madness that goes on. You dig?
Yeah. So, Bill, help me understand when you say it was shut down for economic. What do you mean by? I wasn't sure I followed
the economy.
So you think that's the reason why it was canceled?
Yeah, I mean, in a sense, yeah, but there's a lot of dirt that goes on and all that, a lot of dirty dealings and all that. I know about that. I do. I just try to look at it from a positive point of view and not focus so much on negativity because, it gets really frustrating, but in the long run, I think we're going to be fine.
Okay.
That's just my confidence. That's all.
Okay. All right, Bill. Well, listen, thank you for your comment. You have a great weekend.
And hey, man, you're doing a good job, man. Welcome back. It's great to have you.
Hey, I appreciate that. Thank you for the kind words.
You got it.
All right. All right. Well, listen, I understand Bill's sentiment. This should be Music Festival weekend should be a prime time opportunity, not just for the city of Cincinnati, but for Black entrepreneurship, Black culture, and a celebration of all of those things. And it should be a time of unity. And I agree. This should be something that, the music festival is something that, is created for and surrounds around Black culture, but it's also something that you want to be a uniting and an event that should bring people together. And it should be a highlight. This should be a highlight weekend for the city of Cincinnati. We already know the kind of money that it generates. And so to that end, I think that, we all, from city leadership to city administration, we have to do everything that we can to make sure that these events are put in the best and most positive light, and we support those who are trying to make it so. And so I think that's one of the great disappointments about this, and hopefully some more information will come available. And as I said, my hope is that there are some folks who are working behind the scenes to try to make this happen. I hope that the food truck vendors like Jasmine are able to find some other spots to pull up. I understand that there's some on-street parking regulations or permissions that are allowed for food trucks, so maybe they can find some other spots that they can pull up to make it happen this weekend. Well, whether you go down to the music festival or you stay at home, I hope you have a good, safe, and productive weekend, and that you spend time with the people that you love. That's all I got for today. I'll see you soon next time. This is 1230 WDBZ, the buzz of Cincinnati. All right, chat, let's see. Trying to address a couple things before I get on out of here. Angela Noel said, Bill just worried about Black Walk and hearing his Sunday Soul Classics request. Old School 513 Cincy, I appreciate it. Vernon says, I hope that people don't use this unfortunate situation as an excuse to act a fool downtown this weekend. I think people are going to be chill, Vernon. I think this is going to be a good, positive weekend. I mean, I think it typically has been. Last year was unfortunate, but I suspect people are going to do the right thing, and it's going to go off without incident. Paul Harvey, good to see you in the chat, brother. I appreciate it. Magnificent Love, vote Doug Springs for city council. Don Juan, bad PR for Cincinnati. I agree. Gene Mulholland, thank you. I appreciate you. Appreciate you, Nat Turner. Thank you, brother. All right, y'all. That's it. I'm out. I gotta run, but I will see y'all next time. Appreciate you.
See, this man has just issued the National Guard. The feds have taken over D.C. Who they going to lock up? Our people.
Sharpton keeps it real.
Trump is at it again, deploying the military and National